The law of assumption is a powerful mental principle that shapes our reality based on our inner beliefs and self-concept. Unlike the law of attraction, which focuses on external forces, the law of assumption states that whatever you assume to be true will manifest in your life. This book will guide you on how to reprogram your mind, talk to yourself in a way that aligns with your desires, and ultimately shift your reality to match your highest vision. Introduction. The law of assumption is a transformative principle that reveals how our assumptions, beliefs, and inner dialogue shape the reality we experience. It asserts that whatever you deeply and consistently assume to be true, whether consciously or unconsciously, will inevitably manifest in your external world. Unlike the law of attraction, which suggests that you must attract things into your life, the law of assumption operates on the premise that you already possess everything you desire, and by assuming its existence in your mind, it must materialize in your physical reality. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are constantly creating the circumstances of your life, meaning that every assumption you hold, whether empowering or limiting, is actively shaping your future. Most people unknowingly reinforce unwanted conditions by repeatedly affirming their doubts, fears, and limitations through internal dialogue. However, the moment you become aware of the power of assumption and take control of your inner conversation, you gain the ability to deliberately construct the life you desire. Your subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts whatever you persistently impress upon it. This is why changing your assumptions is the key to changing your life. The external world is not separate from you. It is a reflection of your mental state. When you assume something to be true with absolute conviction, your mind naturally directs your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions in alignment with that assumption, ultimately causing it to manifest in tangible form. Every belief you currently hold about yourself, your relationships, your financial situation, and your overall life experience has been shaped by past assumptions, whether formed intentionally or by default. If your current reality does not align with your desires, it is because your dominant assumptions are out of harmony with what you truly want. By shifting these assumptions, by training yourself to think, speak, and behave as though your desires are already fulfilled, you can bring about remarkable changes in your reality. The power of the law of assumption lies in its simplicity and effectiveness. It requires no external tools or complicated rituals. It only requires a disciplined mind and the willingness to persist in a new belief system. The process begins with becoming aware of your current self-talk and identifying the assumptions that are keeping you stuck in an undesirable reality. If, for example, you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, that money is hard to come by, or that success is reserved for others, then your subconscious will accept these statements as truth and shape your reality accordingly. However, the moment you decide to rewrite this narrative and assume a new identity, one of confidence, abundance, and success, your world will begin to reflect this internal transformation. Talking to yourself in a deliberate and empowering manner is one of the most effective ways to shift your assumptions. Every word you speak to yourself carries energy and meaning, reinforcing either your limitations or your potential. By consciously engaging in positive inner dialogue, you begin to plant new seeds in your subconscious mind, which will eventually sprout into real-life experiences. Instead of saying, "I am struggling," say, "I am thriving." Instead of thinking, "I will never find love," assume, "I am deeply loved and cherished." Instead of believing, "Opportunities are scarce," affirm, "Success comes to me effortlessly." At first, these new assumptions may feel unnatural, but with repetition and faith, they will become ingrained in your subconscious, leading to a shift in your external reality. The key is to persist in your assumption, regardless of what your current circumstances may suggest. Many people give up too soon because they rely on their senses to validate their new assumptions. However, reality does not change instantly. It takes time for the external world to reorganize itself according to your new state of being. This is where unwavering faith and mental discipline come into play. The process of assumption is much like planting a seed. Just because you cannot see immediate results does not mean that nothing is happening. The moment you assume your desire is already fulfilled, unseen forces begin working behind the scenes to bring it into manifestation. Those who master this principle understand that circumstances are irrelevant. What truly matters is maintaining the assumption of the desired reality, regardless of temporary setbacks. Moreover, the law of assumption does not only apply to personal desires such as wealth, health, and relationships, but also to your overall experience of life. If you assume that life is difficult, that people cannot be trusted, or that you are destined to struggle, then your reality will consistently reinforce these beliefs. On the other hand, if you assume that life is filled with ease, opportunities, and support, you will naturally attract experiences that confirm this assumption. The world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you whatever you believe to be true. This is why changing your inner world is the only true path to changing your outer world. No amount of external effort can compensate for a mind filled with limiting beliefs. This book serves as a guide to mastering the art of assumption, providing you with the tools and techniques needed to shift your inner dialogue and create the life you truly desire. Through practical exercises, mental reprogramming strategies, and real-life success stories, you'll discover how to harness the full potential of your mind and align yourself with your ideal reality. The journey to transformation begins with the realization that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your destiny. You hold the power to design your life according to your highest vision by simply assuming it into existence. With dedication, consistency, and belief, you will witness the undeniable truth that whatever you assume to be real will inevitably become your reality. Chapter 1. Understanding the Law of Assumption. The law of assumption is a powerful, universal principle that dictates how reality conforms to the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions consistently held in the mind. It asserts that everything experienced in life is a direct result of the assumptions one has accepted as true, whether consciously or unconsciously. The subconscious mind, which is the driving force behind all human experiences, does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. Instead, it simply accepts whatever is repeatedly impressed upon it and works tirelessly to make it a tangible reality. Unlike the law of attraction, which suggests that one must exert effort to attract things into their life, the law of assumption reveals that everything already exists within the infinite potential of consciousness, and by assuming a desired state with conviction, one naturally aligns with it and brings it into physical existence. Every person, situation, and event encountered in life is a reflection of an internal state, meaning that the conditions of the outer world are never separate from the inner world, but are merely projections of it. This is why two individuals can be in the same circumstances, yet experience vastly different realities. One assumes success, while the other assumes failure, and each experiences events that confirm their assumption. The mind functions like a self-fulfilling prophecy, creating conditions that match its dominant thought patterns, whether they are empowering or limiting. Most people are unaware of the immense influence their assumptions hold, as they unconsciously reinforce negative or disempowering beliefs through habitual self-talk, internal dialogues, and emotional reactions, which in turn shape their reality in undesired ways. By becoming conscious of this process, it becomes possible to take deliberate control over one's assumptions and intentionally reshape life according to a chosen vision. The key to applying the law of assumption effectively lies in understanding that reality is not something separate that must be chased or forced into alignment, but rather something that conforms effortlessly to the assumptions held with the greatest persistence. Because the subconscious mind governs actions, behaviors, and even external circumstances. The moment a new assumption is adopted, the mind begins to orchestrate events, encounters, and even one's own actions to bring that assumption to life. This is why the most significant changes occur, not through external force, but through internal transformation. The process of assumption is deeply rooted in the nature of consciousness itself. What one believes to be true becomes their truth. If an individual assumes that they are successful, their mind will filter reality in a way that confirms this assumption, drawing opportunities, ideas, and experiences that align with that belief. Conversely, if one assumes that life is a struggle, they will continuously encounter obstacles, setbacks, and hardships, all reinforcing their belief that success is difficult to attain. This occurs because the subconscious mind operates based on consistency and familiarity, always seeking to maintain alignment between inner convictions and outer circumstances. The reason so many people remain stuck in cycles of limitation is that they unknowingly reaffirm their current conditions by reacting emotionally to them and reinforcing the belief that those conditions are permanent. However, the moment a person realizes that assumptions are the true cause of experience, rather than mere reactions to circumstances, they gain the power to shift their entire reality by assuming a new state of being. The process of assuming a new reality requires persistence, as the mind is naturally conditioned to default to old patterns, unless it is reprogrammed with new beliefs. This is why conscious repetition of desired assumptions through affirmations, visualization, and inner conversations is essential. Every thought carries energy and intention, either reinforcing a current state or creating a new one. If a person continuously engages in thoughts of failure, inadequacy, or fear, their subconscious will interpret these thoughts as instructions and shape reality accordingly. However, if they begin to consistently affirm and assume a new reality, one of confidence, abundance, and success, their subconscious will work to align their experiences with that new assumption. This is why those who master the law of assumption often describe their manifestations as effortless, as the mind naturally guides them toward actions, opportunities, and circumstances that align with their internal state. The greatest challenge many face when applying this law is the tendency to rely on external validation before fully accepting their assumption as true. Most people are conditioned to believe only what they can see, rather than realizing that what they see is merely a reflection of what they have already assumed. This misunderstanding causes them to give up too soon, not realizing that the outer world takes time to reflect inner changes. The key to success with the law of assumption is unwavering faith, maintaining a chosen assumption regardless of what the senses may currently perceive. One of the most effective ways to harness the power of this law is through controlled inner dialogue. Every moment, the mind engages in silent conversations, either reinforcing old beliefs or creating new ones. By deliberately choosing to speak to oneself in a way that affirms the desired reality, it becomes possible to program the subconscious mind to accept the new assumption as truth. For example, instead of thinking, "I am struggling to succeed," one should assume, "I am already successful, and everything is working in my favor." Instead of believing, "I am unlucky in relationships," one should assume, "I am deeply loved and cherished." These assumptions, when persisted in, create a psychological shift that influences behavior, perception, and even external circumstances. This is because the mind and body function in alignment with the dominant belief system. When a new assumption is internalized, one naturally begins to act, think, and feel in ways that support that assumption, and reality responds accordingly. Furthermore, the law of assumption applies not only to individual desires, but to one's overall experience of life. If a person assumes that life is abundant, that they are always in the right place at the right time, and that the universe is working in their favor, they will consistently encounter evidence that supports these beliefs. However, if they assume that life is difficult, that opportunities are scarce, and that they are destined to struggle, their reality will mirror those beliefs. This is because the world is not separate from the mind, it is an extension of it. The greatest proof of this law can be observed in everyday life. Those who assume confidence naturally exude confidence, and as a result, they attract positive social interactions and opportunities. Those who assume failure unconsciously act in ways that bring about failure. The law is always in operation, whether one is aware of it or not, meaning that every person is already using it, either to their advantage or disadvantage. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck lies in awareness and deliberate application. This is why it is essential to take full responsibility for one's assumptions and choose them wisely. The law of assumption does not require external effort or struggle, it requires internal alignment. The moment a person fully accepts a new assumption as true and maintains it with conviction, reality must conform to match it. It is not a matter of luck or chance, but a fundamental principle governing consciousness and experience. The subconscious mind is infinitely powerful, and once it is programmed with a desired assumption, it will move heaven and earth to bring that assumption to fruition. The only limitation is the one imposed by doubt, fear, or a lack of persistence. Those who succeed with this law do so because they refuse to entertain assumptions that contradict their desired reality. They maintain faith in their chosen state, regardless of temporary appearances, and as a result, they witness reality shifting to align with their inner conviction. By understanding and mastering this law, anyone can unlock their true potential, rewrite their life story, and experience the fulfillment of their greatest desires, proving that reality is not something outside of them, but something they are constantly shaping with their own mind. Chapter 2. The Power of Inner Dialogue. Inner dialogue is the most powerful, continuous force shaping reality because it directly programs the subconscious mind, which then orchestrates external circumstances to match those internal conversations. Every thought, word, and assumption repeated within the mind serves as a command to the subconscious, which does not differentiate between what is real or imagined, nor does it judge whether the assumption is beneficial or detrimental. It simply accepts what is persistently believed and manifests it accordingly. The nature of inner dialogue is such that it operates constantly, often without conscious awareness, meaning that most people unknowingly reinforce limiting beliefs, fears, and doubts through habitual negative self-talk, thereby perpetuating undesirable circumstances in their lives. If a person continuously tells themselves that they are unworthy, unsuccessful, or incapable, the subconscious mind will faithfully ensure that their experiences align with these assumptions, attracting situations, people, and events that reaffirm their internal dialogue. Conversely, if an individual deliberately and consistently engages in self-talk that reinforces confidence, success, and self-worth, their subconscious mind will begin to shape their reality to match these empowering beliefs, drawing favorable circumstances, opportunities, and outcomes that reflect the new mental state. This explains why those who assume success, even in the absence of immediate evidence, often find themselves naturally gravitating towards opportunities that lead to their desired outcome, while those who assume failure continue to experience obstacles that seemingly validate their self-doubt. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil that accepts and nurtures whatever seeds are planted in it through repetition and emotional intensity. Thoughts and words, when repeated with conviction, act as seeds that take root in the subconscious and eventually grow into tangible reality. This is why changing external conditions must begin with changing internal conversations. Trying to alter circumstances without first transforming inner dialogue is like attempting to change the reflection in a mirror without adjusting the original image. People who remain trapped in cycles of negativity and limitation do so because they continue to reaffirm their struggles through their inner dialogue, failing to realize that their repeated thoughts are the very cause of their external difficulties. They may try to improve their lives through action alone, but unless their inner conversations align with their desired reality, their efforts will be met with resistance, as the subconscious will always strive to maintain consistency between beliefs and experiences. This is why some people, despite hard work and determination, find themselves stuck in repetitive patterns. They unknowingly engage in inner conversations that contradict their goals, reinforcing old identities that keep them locked in their current state. The only way to break free from this cycle is to take full control of inner dialogue and deliberately replace disempowering assumptions with new ones that align with the desired reality. The process of changing inner dialogue requires conscious effort and persistence, as the mind naturally defaults to familiar thought patterns that have been ingrained over time. Many people fail to see immediate results when they attempt to shift their self-talk, leading them to revert to old habits of negative thinking, unaware that consistency is the key to reprogramming the subconscious. Every thought carries energy and direction. When negative thoughts are entertained repeatedly, they become deeply embedded beliefs that shape perceptions, decisions, and behaviors in ways that reinforce the assumed reality. However, when a person persistently engages in self-talk that affirms their success, self-worth, and abundance, they begin to override old programming, gradually replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones that shape a new reality. This process works because the subconscious mind governs not only actions, but also the perception of reality. When new beliefs are established through inner dialogue, they influence the way one interprets and interacts with the world, leading to experiences that align with the new mental framework. A key aspect of mastering inner dialogue is understanding that thoughts and words must be aligned with the feeling of certainty in order to be effective. Simply repeating affirmations mechanically without true belief will not produce lasting results, because the subconscious mind responds primarily to the dominant emotional state behind the words. This is why individuals who engage in affirmations but continue to feel doubt or fear struggle to see changes. Their emotions contradict their words, sending mixed signals to the subconscious, which ultimately prioritizes the stronger assumption. To successfully shift inner dialogue, one must combine intentional self-talk with the feeling of already being in the desired state, fully embodying the assumption as if it were already a reality. This technique, often referred to as living in the end, allows the subconscious mind to fully accept the new belief, which then triggers the necessary internal and external shifts to bring it into manifestation. Another critical factor in transforming inner dialogue is the ability to persist in the new assumption regardless of temporary external appearances. Many people give up on changing their self-talk too soon because they expect immediate changes in their circumstances, not realizing that reality takes time to adjust to new mental programming. The subconscious mind requires consistent reinforcement before it fully accepts a new belief, meaning that setbacks or lack of visible progress should not deter one from maintaining the new inner dialogue. Those who succeed in reshaping their reality are those who persist in their assumptions, despite any contradictory evidence, knowing that the external world is simply a delayed reflection of their internal state. This level of mental discipline is what separates those who consciously create their reality from those who remain at the mercy of unconscious programming. Furthermore, inner dialogue does not only influence personal success, but also the way others respond and interact with an individual. People unknowingly project their self-concept through their inner conversations, which are then perceived by others on a subconscious level. For example, someone who consistently assumes that they are respected, valued, and admired will naturally exude confidence and presence, leading others to treat them accordingly. On the other hand, someone who assumes they are unworthy or insignificant will unconsciously carry themselves in a way that invites dismissal or disregard from others. This phenomenon explains why some individuals naturally command respect and authority without exerting effort they have internally assumed that they are worthy of it, and their subconscious mind influences their behavior, energy, and interactions in ways that reflect that assumption. Inner dialogue is also responsible for shaping emotional resilience and overall mental well-being. Those who engage in empowering self-talk develop a strong inner foundation that allows them to navigate challenges with confidence and grace, while those who entertain self-defeating thoughts become easily discouraged and emotionally vulnerable to setbacks. By training the mind to maintain a positive and constructive inner dialogue, one can cultivate an unshakable mindset that remains unaffected by temporary difficulties, allowing for greater personal growth and fulfillment. This is why individuals who achieve extraordinary success often attribute their accomplishments to their mindset, rather than external circumstances. What they assumed and repeatedly affirmed within themselves became their lived reality. The mastery of inner dialogue is the mastery of life itself, as every spoken or unspoken word directed toward oneself is an act of creation. Every individual is constantly shaping their future through their self-talk, whether they realize it or not. The question is not whether the law of assumption is working, but whether it is being used intentionally or unconsciously to create undesired outcomes. Those who take control of their inner conversations and consistently affirm their desired reality will inevitably experience a transformation in their external world. By recognizing that thoughts are not passive but active forces that dictate experience, one gains the ability to deliberately shape their destiny through the simple yet profound practice of talking to themselves in a way that aligns with their highest aspirations. This realization marks the turning point from being a passive observer of life to becoming the conscious creator of it, proving that the mind is the true architect of reality. Chapter 3. Assume it, and it is done. Assumption is the fundamental force that shapes reality, as the subconscious mind operates entirely on the basis of what is persistently believed to be true. The moment an assumption is fully accepted without contradiction, the subconscious mind immediately begins aligning thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and external circumstances to bring that assumption into physical reality. This process occurs naturally and inevitably, because the mind is the source of all experiences. Reality is nothing more than a projection of deeply held beliefs. The key to manifesting any desire is not to wish, hope, or beg for it, but to assume its fulfillment as an absolute fact, even before there is any physical evidence to support it. Most people struggle to manifest their desires because they allow external conditions to dictate their beliefs, instead of understanding that beliefs themselves create external conditions. When one assumes something to be true, whether consciously or unconsciously, they activate the mechanisms of the subconscious mind, which then works relentlessly to prove that assumption correct. This explains why those who assume success inevitably find ways to succeed, while those who assume failure continue to encounter obstacles that confirm their beliefs. The subconscious mind does not question whether an assumption is logical, realistic, or beneficial. It simply accepts whatever is persistently impressed upon it and ensures that it materializes. This is why many individuals remain stuck in cycles of limitation, unaware that their habitual assumptions are the cause of their ongoing struggles. They assume that change is difficult, that success is out of reach, or that they are unworthy of love, and as a result, their reality conforms to these limiting assumptions. Conversely, those who assume abundance, confidence, and success without doubt naturally experience these states, because the subconscious mind orchestrates reality to reflect their inner certainty. The subconscious operates in absolute terms. It does not recognize trying or wishing. It only responds to firm, unwavering assumptions as if they are already true. This is why assumption is not about forcing reality to change through effort, but about adopting the mindset and state of being that naturally aligns with the desired outcome. When an assumption is held with conviction, it influences every aspect of a person's thinking, emotional state, and actions, leading them to behave as though their goal is already accomplished. This shift in mental and emotional alignment creates an energetic frequency that attracts corresponding experiences, drawing in opportunities, people, and circumstances that reinforce the assumed reality. The power of assumption is seen in all aspects of life. A person who assumes they are confident naturally carries themselves with assurance, speaks with authority, and is treated as such by others, while someone who assumes they are insecure will unconsciously project doubt, attracting experiences that confirm their lack of confidence. The same principle applies to financial success, relationships, health, and every other area of life. What is assumed on a deep level must be expressed in reality. The reason most people fail to manifest their desires is that they waver in their assumptions, allowing doubt, fear, and external circumstances to shake their belief. If a person assumes success one moment, but then entertains thoughts of failure the next, the subconscious mind receives mixed signals and does not fully commit to manifesting the desired outcome. To successfully use the law of assumption, one must be unwavering in their belief, maintaining the conviction that what they desire is already a present reality, regardless of what their physical senses tell them. This is the essence of faith, not blind optimism, but a deep knowing that reality must conform to what is assumed as true. The most powerful way to solidify an assumption is to embody it completely in thought, speech, and action. This means thinking, speaking, and behaving as if the desired state is already a fact. If one desires wealth, they must assume a mindset of financial abundance, thinking and feeling as a wealthy person would, without indulging in thoughts of lack. If one desires love, they must assume the state of being loved, knowing with certainty that they are already deeply cherished and valued, rather than dwelling on feelings of loneliness or unworthiness. Every thought that contradicts the assumption must be immediately dismissed and replaced with affirmations of its truth. This mental discipline is what separates those who successfully shift their reality from those who remain trapped in their old patterns. Assumption is not merely a passive belief. It is an active state of consciousness that influences all aspects of perception and behavior. A person who assumes their dream job is already theirs will instinctively act, speak, and carry themselves in a way that aligns with that reality, making them naturally magnetic to the right opportunities. Likewise, someone who assumes they are healthy and vibrant will find themselves drawn to behaviors that support their well-being, and their body will respond accordingly. The mistake many people make is waiting for external proof before they believe in their desired reality, not realizing that belief itself is what generates the proof. The subconscious mind does not wait for validation from the external world. It creates reality based on the assumptions that are most consistently impressed upon it. This is why those who truly master the law of assumption understand that the moment they assume something is done, it is already in motion, and they persist in this belief until it solidifies in their physical world. The concept of living in the end is the most effective way to harness the power of assumption. Instead of focusing on the process or wondering how a desire will manifest, one must mentally dwell in the state of the fulfilled wish, feeling and experiencing it as if it were already true. This shifts consciousness into alignment with the desired reality, causing the subconscious mind to reorganize circumstances to match the assumption. Those who successfully manifest their desires do not entertain thoughts of if or when. They operate from the absolute certainty that what they have assumed is already theirs. This is why assumption must be absolute. Any lingering doubt or contradictory thought weakens the process and delays manifestation. Reality is a mirror reflecting inner beliefs, and the moment one fully assumes something without hesitation, the external world has no choice but to comply. The subconscious mind is always working to confirm assumptions, whether they are empowering or limiting. If someone assumes they are constantly unlucky, their subconscious mind will ensure they encounter situations that reinforce this belief. If someone assumes they are always in the right place at the right time, their subconscious will create circumstances that align with this expectation. This is why changing reality is as simple as changing assumption. By persistently assuming the desired outcome, a person reprograms their subconscious to reflect that new reality. The only difference between those who succeed and those who struggle is their ability to remain firm in their assumptions without allowing doubt or external appearances to shake their belief. Those who assume success, happiness, and abundance as their natural state inevitably experience these conditions because the subconscious mind is incapable of failing to manifest what is consistently impressed upon it. The mastery of assumption is the mastery of life itself. Once a person understands that reality is shaped by what is assumed as true, they no longer rely on external circumstances to dictate their beliefs. They take full control of their consciousness, knowing that by assuming a desired outcome with absolute certainty, they are commanding their subconscious to manifest it into existence. There is no force in the universe that can override a firmly held assumption. Once the mind fully accepts something as true, it must materialize. This understanding is the key to unlimited potential, as it reveals that nothing is beyond reach for those who assume its reality. The power to create lies entirely within the mind, and the moment an assumption is made with complete conviction, reality has already begun to shift in its favor. This is the ultimate secret to manifestation. Assume it, and it is done. Chapter 4. Shifting your self-identity. Every aspect of life is governed by self-identity, because the subconscious mind operates based on the deeply ingrained beliefs a person holds about themselves. The way someone perceives themselves determines their thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and ultimately their reality. Self-identity is not just a label, it is a deeply embedded framework that dictates what a person believes they are capable of, what they deserve, and what they can achieve. This is why people do not experience what they merely desire. They experience what they assume to be true about themselves. A person who subconsciously sees themselves as unworthy, unsuccessful, or incapable will continue to attract experiences that reinforce these beliefs, regardless of how much they consciously try to change their circumstances. The subconscious mind is wired to seek consistency, meaning it will always work to confirm the identity a person holds, whether that identity is empowering or limiting. This is why someone who sees themselves as a failure will find themselves repeatedly experiencing setbacks, missed opportunities, and reinforcing patterns of defeat, while someone who assumes the identity of success will naturally encounter opportunities, insights, and circumstances that align with that assumption. The key to shifting reality is not in forcing external changes, but in deeply altering the self-image one holds at a subconscious level. This is because the external world is merely a reflection of internal assumptions, and until those assumptions change, nothing in the outer world can truly shift. Shifting self-identity requires a deep, unwavering commitment to seeing oneself differently, not just in moments of motivation, but as a permanent state of being. This means that instead of trying to become confident, successful, or abundant, one must fully assume they already are, even before any external evidence exists. The subconscious does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It only accepts what is persistently believed. This means that the moment a person shifts their self-concept and maintains that shift, their mind and reality reorganize to match it. For example, if someone identifies as shy and socially awkward, they will unconsciously act in ways that reinforce this identity, avoiding social situations, struggling with conversation, and feeling anxious around others. However, if they fully assume the identity of a confident, charismatic individual, they will begin thinking, speaking, and acting in alignment with that new identity, and their interactions will transform effortlessly. The subconscious mind will guide them toward behaviors, opportunities, and circumstances that align with the new assumption, making confidence a natural and automatic state. The mistake most people make is trying to change their behavior without first changing their identity, which leads to struggle, inconsistency, and eventual failure. Lasting change is only possible when it originates at the level of self-concept, as this is what truly determines how a person thinks, feels, and acts on a subconscious level. Reprogramming self-identity requires persistent mental discipline because the old identity will resist change. The mind is naturally conditioned to hold on to familiar patterns, even if those patterns are destructive, because the subconscious equates familiarity with safety. This is why people who try to make positive changes often find themselves slipping back into old habits. They are still operating from the same underlying self-image. The only way to break free from this cycle is to consciously and consistently reinforce a new identity until it becomes dominant. Every thought, belief, and action must align with this new self-concept, and anything that contradicts it must be immediately rejected. If a person desires to be wealthy, they must no longer think, speak, or behave as someone who struggles financially. They must assume the mindset of financial abundance, training themselves to see wealth as their natural state. They must reject thoughts of lack, refuse to engage in conversations that reinforce scarcity, and cultivate feelings of gratitude and certainty about their financial success. This is not about pretending or lying to oneself. It is about embodying a new truth so deeply that the subconscious fully accepts it as reality. Every great transformation in history has been the result of a shift in self-identity. Those who were once timid but became leaders, those who were once poor but became wealthy, those who were once unhealthy but became fit, all of them changed their external reality by first changing their internal assumptions about who they were. This is why the most powerful way to create lasting change is not through force or willpower, but through assumption. The moment a new identity is assumed without doubt, the subconscious takes over and begins aligning all aspects of life to match it. This explains why some people achieve success effortlessly, while others struggle for years without results. The difference is in their self-identity. Those who assume they are naturally successful, confident, and deserving of abundance experience these states as their reality, because their subconscious mind ensures they act in alignment with those assumptions. Those who identify with struggle, failure, and limitation continue to experience those conditions because their subconscious mind reinforces them. The process of shifting self-identity is not instantaneous, but it becomes easier with persistence. The key is repetition. Just as old beliefs were reinforced through years of repetition, new beliefs must be instilled in the same way. Affirmations, visualization, and mental rehearsal are powerful tools for reprogramming the subconscious, but they must be practiced consistently and with conviction. Simply repeating positive statements without truly feeling them will not create change. The new identity must be fully accepted as truth. This means speaking, thinking, and acting as the new self, even before any external proof exists. The subconscious mind does not wait for evidence to believe. It creates evidence based on what is believed. This is why those who successfully shift their self-identity do not rely on external validation. They embody their new reality mentally first, knowing that the external world will inevitably catch up. Every thought, feeling, and behavior must be evaluated in alignment with the new identity. If a person desires to be fit and healthy, but still sees themselves as someone who struggles with weight, they will continue to engage in habits that sabotage their progress. However, if they fully assume the identity of a fit, healthy individual, they will naturally make choices that support that assumption, and their body will transform accordingly. This applies to every area of life, whether it be success, relationships, confidence, or personal growth. The moment self-identity shifts, everything else follows automatically. The subconscious mind will begin filtering reality differently, attracting circumstances, people, and experiences that align with the new belief system. This is why transformation is effortless once the internal shift is made. The external world simply mirrors the new self-concept. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for external change before they shift their self-identity. They believe they must see results before they can believe in their transformation, not realizing that belief itself creates results. The most powerful way to create change is to assume it is already done, to fully embody the new identity without hesitation. The moment this assumption is made with complete certainty, the subconscious mind begins working to make it a reality. Those who understand this principle realize that they can become anything they choose, simply by assuming the identity of the person they desire to be. There is no external force preventing transformation, only the limitations imposed by self-identity. Once those limitations are removed, nothing is impossible. The mastery of self-identity is the mastery of life itself. Those who take full control of their self-concept gain the ability to shape their reality in any way they desire. They no longer react to circumstances but create them by assuming the identity that aligns with their ideal life. Every thought, word, and action reinforces this assumption, and reality must conform accordingly. This is the ultimate secret to transformation. Assume the new identity, live as if it is already true, and reality will shift to match it. The subconscious mind is incapable of failing to manifest what is consistently impressed upon it. This means that the moment a person truly accepts a new self-identity as their absolute truth, their world must change to reflect it. There is no other way. Reality always follows self-identity. Chapter 5. The Role of Imagination in Reality Creation. Imagination is the foundational force behind the creation of reality, because the subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is physically real and what is vividly imagined with conviction. Every human experience, action, and external circumstance originates from mental images that are continuously impressed upon the subconscious. People mistakenly believe that reality is shaped by external factors alone, but in truth, the external world is only a reflection of what is dominantly held in the mind. The subconscious does not argue or analyze. It simply accepts and materializes whatever is persistently fed into it, whether that be success or failure, abundance or lack, confidence or self-doubt. This is why imagination is not just a tool for fantasy, but the very mechanism through which life unfolds. Every great invention, discovery, achievement, and transformation has begun as an image in the mind before it materialized in the physical world. Those who consciously direct their imagination with precision shape their reality according to their will, while those who allow their imagination to be controlled by fear, doubt, and external influences unknowingly create a life filled with struggle and limitation. The human mind is constantly generating mental images, whether deliberately or passively, and these images act as blueprints for the subconscious to follow. If one repeatedly envisions success, happiness, and fulfillment with emotional intensity, the subconscious accepts this as truth and begins orchestrating circumstances, behaviors, and opportunities to bring this vision into reality. On the other hand, those who frequently imagine failure, rejection, and hardship reinforce these conditions, making them inevitable in their lives. The key to effective imagination is not just casual daydreaming, but deep, immersive mental rehearsal that engages all the senses and emotions as if the desired reality is already happening. The subconscious does not recognize the difference between an experience that is happening physically and one that is vividly imagined with strong emotional involvement. This is why those who practice visualization techniques, mental rehearsals, and assumption of already having what they desire see radical transformations in their lives. Athletes, performers, and high achievers have long used the power of imagination to enhance their abilities and manifest their goals, proving that the mind can shape the body, actions, and reality itself. By mentally placing themselves in the desired scenario repeatedly, they train their minds and nervous systems to respond as if that scenario is already real, making success automatic. A person who consistently imagines themselves as wealthy will develop the mindset, habits, and behaviors of wealth, inevitably leading to financial abundance. A person who repeatedly envisions themselves as confident and charismatic will naturally radiate confidence and attract social opportunities. Conversely, those who habitually picture failure, fear, and self-doubt condition themselves to experience those exact things, even if they consciously wish for better outcomes. The subconscious mind follows the dominant mental picture with unwavering loyalty, ensuring that reality conforms to what is most frequently imagined. Most people fail to realize that they are already using imagination all the time, but in an undirected, unconscious way that reinforces their existing limitations. They dwell on past mistakes, visualize worst-case scenarios, replay painful memories, and imagine obstacles that have not even happened yet, unknowingly programming their subconscious to manifest these negative experiences. The power of imagination works both ways. It can be the greatest tool for transformation or the most destructive force, depending on how it is used. Those who understand this principle take control of their inner world by deliberately choosing the mental images they allow to dominate their subconscious. Instead of replaying failure, they visualize success. Instead of imagining struggle, they assume ease and abundance. Instead of fearing rejection, they picture themselves being welcomed, admired, and appreciated. This conscious redirection of imagination shifts self-perception, alters subconscious programming, and ultimately transforms external reality. The most powerful way to make imagination effective is by fully embodying the desired state, feeling the emotions of already having what is imagined, and experiencing it internally as if it were real. This is not about mere wishful thinking, but about shifting into a new state of being so completely that the subconscious must accept it as truth. The mistake many people make is using imagination passively rather than deliberately. They hope for change without consistently impressing their subconscious with a new reality they want to experience. Just as a person who trains their body through repeated exercise builds strength, a person who trains their imagination through repeated visualization builds a new reality. The more one mentally rehearses their ideal self, the more the subconscious rewires itself to make that identity and reality a natural experience. This is why those who persist in assuming their desires as already fulfilled inevitably see them materialize. The subconscious, once given a clear and dominant instruction through persistent imagination, orchestrates circumstances, attracts opportunities, and influences actions to bring that vision to life. Imagination is the seed from which all manifestations grow, and like any seed, it must be nurtured with consistency and belief. The subconscious mind thrives on repetition, meaning that a single visualization is not enough. The new reality must be mentally rehearsed daily until it becomes an automatic assumption. The more vividly and frequently one immerses themselves in their imagined reality, the faster it solidifies in the subconscious, leading to external confirmation. This is why those who master imagination do not need to wait for physical evidence before believing in their new reality. They assume it internally first, knowing that the outer world must conform to the inner world. Doubt and hesitation disrupt the process, while persistence and conviction accelerate manifestation. The subconscious does not operate on logic or external proof. It responds only to what is most consistently and vividly impressed upon it. Those who fully accept their imagined reality as truth will see it reflected back to them without fail. Everything in life is created twice, first in the mind, then in the physical world. Those who control their imagination control their future, because they determine in advance what they will experience. The mistake most people make is believing that imagination is separate from reality, when, in truth, it is the very foundation of reality. Every great thinker, innovator, and leader throughout history has understood this principle and used it to their advantage. They did not passively wait for circumstances to change. They imagined their ideal reality first, lived in that mental state until it became natural, and then watched as their external world shifted accordingly. Reality is simply the mirror of imagination, reflecting back whatever is most dominantly held in consciousness. By mastering imagination, one gains complete control over their destiny. No external force determines what is possible, only the limitations imposed by one's own mind. Those who allow fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs to dictate their imagination will live in a world of obstacles, while those who consciously direct their imagination toward abundance, success, and fulfillment will experience exactly that. There is no randomness in reality creation. Everything that manifests is the result of deeply held mental impressions. The moment one fully embraces their desired reality in imagination and maintains that vision with unwavering certainty, the subconscious mind aligns every aspect of life to match it. This is the ultimate key to effortless manifestation. Assume the new reality internally, live in it mentally, and the physical world must conform. The subconscious cannot fail to materialize what is persistently impressed upon it, making imagination the most powerful tool for transforming any aspect of life. Chapter 6: Techniques to Rewire Your Mind. Rewiring the mind is a systematic process of replacing deeply ingrained subconscious programming with new, empowering beliefs, thoughts, and emotional patterns that align with the reality one desires to experience. The subconscious mind operates like a computer, running on mental scripts that have been formed over years of repeated thoughts, emotions, and experiences. These scripts dictate a person's self-image, behaviors, decisions, and external outcomes, meaning that changing one's life requires changing these underlying mental patterns. Since the subconscious does not differentiate between reality and imagination, it accepts whatever is impressed upon it consistently and with emotional intensity. Therefore, by consciously applying specific techniques, one can overwrite limiting beliefs, dissolve old conditioning, and replace unwanted mental patterns with new ones that align with success, confidence, abundance, and fulfillment. One of the most effective techniques for rewiring the mind is the use of affirmations, powerful, present-tense statements that reinforce a desired belief system. Repeating affirmations daily with strong emotion and conviction imprints them onto the subconscious, gradually replacing old negative thoughts with new empowering ones. However, affirmations must be accompanied by belief and feeling, as the subconscious responds to emotions rather than empty words. When an affirmation is repeated with certainty and deep emotional engagement, the subconscious begins to accept it as reality, and behaviors, perceptions, and external circumstances shift accordingly. For example, someone who consistently affirms, "I am confident and successful," while feeling the emotions of confidence and success, will rewire their subconscious to embody these traits, leading to natural actions and circumstances that reflect this new belief. Visualization is another potent method for subconscious reprogramming. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between an event that is physically experienced and one that is vividly imagined with sensory detail. By repeatedly visualizing oneself living in the desired reality, seeing, hearing, feeling, and even smelling the details as if it were already happening, one trains the mind to accept this vision as truth. Over time, the subconscious begins to shift behaviors, perceptions, and external events to match this mental image. The most effective visualization involves full emotional engagement, where one truly feels the excitement, joy, and gratitude of having already achieved the goal. This heightened emotional state acts as a catalyst for rewiring the subconscious more rapidly. Those who practice visualization consistently often find themselves naturally taking actions that lead them toward their envisioned reality without conscious effort. Scripting is another powerful reprogramming tool that combines the benefits of visualization and affirmations. By writing out one's desires in the present tense as if they have already been achieved, the subconscious is further reinforced with the new belief system. Writing engages the brain in a way that strengthens memory and learning, making the process of reprogramming even more effective. For example, writing daily entries that describe one's ideal life, such as, "I wake up every day feeling powerful, successful, and abundant," imprints this new identity onto the subconscious. The more vividly and emotionally charged the writing, the more deeply it is absorbed by the mind. Meditation and mindfulness techniques also play a crucial role in rewiring the subconscious mind. Meditation allows one to quiet the noise of the conscious mind, making it easier to access and influence subconscious patterns. By practicing mindfulness, one becomes more aware of negative thought loops and can consciously replace them with more constructive thoughts. Guided meditations specifically designed for subconscious reprogramming, where affirmations and visualization are combined in a deeply relaxed state, are highly effective in accelerating transformation. When the brain enters a theta state, a state of deep relaxation similar to the moments before sleep, the subconscious becomes highly receptive to new programming, making this an optimal time for affirmations and visualization. Mental revision is another transformative technique that allows one to change the impact of past experiences on the present and future. Since the subconscious mind is programmed based on past experiences, revising those memories in a new, empowering way can neutralize their negative effects. This involves mentally replaying an unfavorable event, but altering it to reflect a positive outcome. For example, if someone has a memory of failure that continues to affect their confidence, they can mentally reimagine the event as a success, seeing themselves handling the situation flawlessly and feeling a sense of victory. The subconscious accepts this revised version of the event, altering the self-image and changing future reactions. Since the subconscious operates based on perception rather than objective reality, this technique effectively dissolves limiting beliefs rooted in past experiences. Another critical method for rewiring the mind is self-concept shifting. The way one sees themselves, whether as successful or unsuccessful, worthy or unworthy, powerful or weak, determines their reality. By consciously assuming the identity of the person one wishes to become, the subconscious begins to reshape actions, habits, and external circumstances to reflect this new self-concept. This involves thinking, speaking, and behaving as the desired version of oneself before external evidence appears. By embodying the thoughts, emotions, and actions of the new self-image, the subconscious begins to solidify this identity, leading to real-world shifts. Repetition is the foundation of subconscious reprogramming. The mind learns through repetition, just as the body builds muscle through consistent exercise. Just as lifting weights for a single day will not produce a strong body, saying an affirmation or visualizing a goal once will not rewire the subconscious. The key is daily, unwavering consistency. New beliefs must be reinforced repeatedly until they become dominant, naturally replacing old limiting patterns. This requires commitment and discipline, as transformation does not happen overnight. Another crucial factor is emotional intensity. The subconscious responds to strong emotions far more powerfully than to neutral thoughts. This is why negative experiences that trigger intense emotions tend to leave deep imprints on the mind. To effectively rewire the subconscious, one must intentionally generate strong positive emotions: joy, excitement, gratitude when visualizing or affirming new beliefs. The more real the new belief feels emotionally, the faster it is accepted by the subconscious. Environment also plays a significant role in subconscious reprogramming. Surrounding oneself with positive influences, uplifting books, motivational speakers, supportive communities reinforces new thought patterns and helps maintain a high vibrational state. The subconscious absorbs information from the environment constantly, meaning that exposure to negativity, toxic relationships, or limiting beliefs from others can slow or reverse progress. Being mindful of the content one consumes, the conversations one engages in, and the people one associates with is crucial in maintaining a strong mental reprogramming process. Ultimately, the process of rewiring the mind is about taking full control of mental conditioning, rather than allowing external circumstances to shape beliefs unconsciously. Those who master these techniques gain the ability to reshape their entire reality by consciously choosing the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs they allow to dominate their subconscious. The key to success lies in persistence, as the subconscious does not change instantly, but responds to sustained repetition, emotional intensity, and deep immersion in the new mental state. By consistently applying these techniques, one can dissolve all past limitations and create a life that reflects their highest potential. The mind is infinitely adaptable, and those who take charge of their mental programming take charge of their destiny. Chapter 7: Detachment and Living in the End. Detachment and living in the end are the most powerful principles in the process of manifestation, allowing a person to shift from a mindset of lack and desire to a mindset of already having, which is the key to creating tangible changes in reality. Most people mistakenly believe that they must constantly think about, worry about, and chase after their desires in order to manifest them. But this approach is counterproductive, because it reinforces the feeling of not having, which in turn keeps the desire out of reach. Detachment does not mean giving up on a goal or losing interest in what one wants. Instead, it means fully trusting that it is already done, knowing that it is inevitable, and removing the emotional desperation that blocks its manifestation. Living in the end means assuming the mental, emotional, and behavioral state of already being the person who has the desired reality, which in turn sends a powerful message to the subconscious mind that this is now the truth. The subconscious does not distinguish between what is physically real and what is imagined with conviction, so by fully embodying the state of the wish fulfilled, external circumstances naturally align to match this inner certainty. However, most people struggle with this because they are conditioned to believe only what they see rather than trusting an unseen reality, which is why mastering detachment is crucial. The key to detachment is understanding that when a person constantly checks for signs, doubts the process, or feels anxious about whether their desire will come true, they are actually reinforcing the state of not having it, which blocks it from manifesting. Detachment allows a person to release resistance, stop worrying about the how and when, and instead focus on fully stepping into the energy of the fulfilled desire. This is because any feeling of urgency, doubt, or neediness is a signal to the subconscious that the desire is still separate from the self, and since reality mirrors internal beliefs, it will continue to reflect the separation. Those who successfully manifest their desires are those who no longer crave them, because they already feel as if they have them. This is why people often find that the things they stop obsessing over appear effortlessly, while the things they desperately want seem to remain out of reach. The paradox of manifestation is that when a person stops needing something, they align with the frequency of already having it, and it flows into their life effortlessly. One of the most powerful techniques to embody detachment and live in the end is visualization, where one vividly imagines their life as if the desire has already manifested. This must be done with full emotional engagement, activating all senses to make the experience feel as real as possible. For example, if someone wants financial abundance, instead of wishing for it, they must visualize themselves already living in wealth, seeing themselves making large purchases without worry, feeling the confidence and security of having more than enough money, hearing others congratulating them on their success. The more real this imagined experience feels, the more the subconscious accepts it as the new reality, which then influences thoughts, actions, and external circumstances accordingly. Another powerful method is scripting, where one writes out their life story in the present tense as if everything they desire has already happened, which reinforces the assumption of fulfillment. Writing activates the subconscious in a profound way, embedding the new reality into the mind and strengthening belief in the desired outcome. Mental diet is also essential when practicing detachment and living in the end. This means eliminating all thoughts, words, and behaviors that contradict the assumption of the fulfilled desire. If someone constantly complains about their current circumstances, doubts their ability to manifest, or allows negative external influences to shake their faith, they are sending mixed signals to the subconscious, which slows down or blocks manifestation. Instead, one must remain disciplined in thought, focusing only on what aligns with the new reality and ignoring anything that contradicts it. The subconscious mind operates on repetition, so the more one consistently holds onto the assumption of fulfillment, the faster it solidifies into external reality. Revising past experiences is another technique that helps in fully stepping into the state of the wish fulfilled. If a person has past memories that reinforce limiting beliefs such as experiences of failure, rejection, or struggle, they can mentally rewrite those events, imagining them differently to align with their desired self-concept. Since the subconscious does not differentiate between real and imagined experiences, revising past events alters their impact on present beliefs and future outcomes. For example, if someone has a history of financial difficulties, they can mentally replay past situations and imagine themselves handling money effortlessly, feeling abundant, and succeeding in financial decisions. By doing this consistently, they rewire their subconscious identity from one of struggle to one of financial ease, which then reflects in their external world. Another critical aspect of detachment is avoiding emotional reactions to current reality. The biggest mistake people make is reacting negatively to what they see in their present circumstances, which only reinforces their existing state. If someone desires a relationship but constantly focuses on loneliness, feeling frustrated that they are still single, they are unknowingly affirming their current reality rather than their desired one. Instead, they must maintain inner peace, act as if their desire is already fulfilled, and refuse to be swayed by temporary external conditions. The ability to persist in belief despite what is happening around them is what separates those who successfully manifest from those who remain stuck. A powerful way to cultivate detachment is by shifting focus to other fulfilling activities, hobbies, and self-improvement rather than obsessing over the desire. When a person is too fixated on their manifestation, they create resistance by reinforcing that it is not yet here. However, when they shift their attention to enjoying life, engaging in passions, and focusing on personal growth, they naturally release the neediness that blocks manifestation. This is why people often find that their desires manifest when they least expect them, because they have energetically let go, allowing the subconscious to do its work without interference. Trusting the unseen is the foundation of detachment and living in the end. This means fully believing that once a desire is assumed as true in the mind, it must materialize in physical reality, even if there are no visible signs yet. Reality is simply a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs, meaning that even if current circumstances contradict the desire, they are only a lagging reflection of an old mindset. The moment a person truly shifts into the assumption of already having, reality must eventually catch up. Those who master detachment understand that their external world is an echo of their internal state, so instead of waiting for proof, they become the proof by fully stepping into the desired identity. The ultimate realization in this process is that nothing is external, everything is a reflection of inner consciousness. Those who successfully apply detachment and live in the end recognize that they are not at the mercy of circumstances. They are the creators of their reality. The more they persist in the assumption of their fulfilled desire, the more effortlessly reality aligns with it. Living in the end means no longer striving, hoping, or wishing. It means knowing, embodying, and confidently expecting that what is assumed must materialize. The moment this shift occurs internally, external reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the new state of being. Chapter 8. Common Pitfalls and How to Overcome Them. Overcoming common pitfalls in the law of assumption is essential for ensuring that manifestations unfold smoothly and effortlessly, as many people unknowingly delay or block their desires due to internal conflicts, inconsistent beliefs, emotional reactions, and subconscious resistance. One of the most significant mistakes is maintaining a state of doubt and fear, as these emotions contradict the assumption of already having what is desired, reinforcing a state of lack rather than fulfillment. Doubt signals to the subconscious that the desired reality is not real, causing it to resist the shift necessary to manifest the assumption. The way to overcome doubt is through complete mental discipline, consistently affirming the fulfillment of the desire, practicing unwavering faith, and refusing to entertain any contradictory thoughts. Another major mistake is focusing too much on the external world rather than internal assumptions, as many individuals react to current circumstances instead of persisting in the belief that their desire is already achieved. This is problematic because reality is a reflection of past thoughts, meaning that current circumstances are simply the delayed result of old beliefs, and reacting negatively to them only strengthens their presence. The key is to remain mentally strong, ignoring appearances, and holding firm to the new assumption until it hardens into fact. Another common pitfall is inconsistency, where individuals shift between positive assumptions and negative doubts, which confuses the subconscious and delays manifestation. This happens when people allow their emotions to fluctuate based on external conditions, rather than training themselves to maintain a stable state of fulfillment, regardless of what they see. Overcoming this requires strict mental discipline, a strong self-concept, and a refusal to entertain any thoughts that contradict the assumed reality. Another critical mistake is becoming emotionally attached to the desire in a way that creates resistance, as desperation, longing, and frustration signal to the subconscious that the desire has not yet been fulfilled, reinforcing the experience of not having. The key to overcoming this is practicing detachment, which does not mean giving up on the desire, but rather trusting that it is already done and living from that state of certainty. Another common stumbling block is seeking validation from external signs, as constantly looking for proof that the manifestation is happening keeps one in a state of waiting, which contradicts the assumption of already having. The key is to trust the unseen, persist in the assumption, and remain indifferent to whether or not external signs appear. Many people also struggle with deeply ingrained limiting beliefs, which create subconscious resistance to new assumptions. If someone has spent years believing they are unlucky, unworthy, or incapable of achieving success, these deeply held beliefs will counteract any new affirmations or assumptions. Overcoming this requires persistent reprogramming of the subconscious through affirmations, visualization, scripting, and revision techniques that override old beliefs with new ones aligned with the desired reality. Another mistake is trying to force or control the manifestation process by obsessing over how or when it will happen, which creates resistance and slows down the natural unfolding of events. The subconscious mind and universal intelligence know the best and most effortless way to bring a manifestation into reality, and trying to manipulate the process only disrupts the natural flow. The key is to trust the process, release attachment to the specifics, and allow the desire to materialize in the most perfect way. Another significant pitfall is giving up too soon when results are not immediately visible, as many people abandon their assumptions just before they would have manifested, failing to understand that reality is always shifting in response to their dominant beliefs. The key is to persist, knowing that external reality is simply a reflection of internal states, and to continue assuming the fulfillment of the desire, regardless of any apparent delays. Another mistake is being too attached to one specific outcome, rather than focusing on the essence of the desire. Sometimes, the subconscious delivers manifestations in unexpected and even better ways than originally imagined. But if one is too fixated on a single possibility, they may block other opportunities from unfolding. The key is to remain open to infinite possibilities and trust that the best possible version of the desire will manifest. Another challenge is allowing negative influences from others to create doubt, as external opinions and skepticism can weaken assumptions and create unnecessary resistance. Protecting one's mindset, avoiding discussions that contradict the desired reality, and surrounding oneself with positive influences help maintain a strong belief system. Another major pitfall is obsessing over manifestation techniques, rather than focusing on the internal shift, as many people mistakenly believe that repeating affirmations, scripting, or visualizing will automatically manifest desires without truly embodying the feeling of already having. Techniques are only effective when they create an internal shift in state, and simply going through the motions without fully assuming the wish fulfilled does not create real change. Another common mistake is allowing past failures to dictate future expectations, as many people carry past disappointments into their present assumptions, which keeps them stuck in repetitive patterns. Overcoming this requires rewriting past experiences through revision techniques, forgiving oneself for past mistakes, and choosing to believe in a new reality without carrying old baggage. Another major stumbling block is impatience, as wanting instant results creates a state of frustration, which contradicts the feeling of already having the desire. Manifestation happens in divine timing, and the key is to develop patience, trust in the process, and remain committed to the assumption until it solidifies into reality. Another hidden pitfall is allowing emotions to fluctuate based on external circumstances, as reacting negatively to delays or setbacks disrupts the manifestation process. Remaining emotionally stable and unwavering in the assumption ensures that reality shifts accordingly. Some individuals also misinterpret temporary obstacles as signs of failure, rather than understanding that setbacks are often part of the bridge of incidents leading to manifestation. The key is to persist through difficulties, recognizing that reality is in the process of rearranging itself, and to continue assuming the desired reality no matter what happens. Another mistake is treating manifestation as an experiment, rather than fully committing to the belief in one's power to create reality. Those who truly master the law of assumption do not test it, they live it, knowing that their assumptions shape their world without doubt or hesitation. The ultimate realization in overcoming these pitfalls is that persistence, mental discipline, and an unwavering commitment to the assumption of fulfillment are the only requirements for successful manifestation. Reality is simply a reflection of consciousness, and as long as one remains firm in the assumption of already having, external circumstances must eventually conform, no matter how impossible it may seem. Conclusion. The fundamental truth revealed in this book is that reality is not an independent force acting upon the individual, but rather a mirror reflecting the assumptions, beliefs, and self-concept held within. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption, whether conscious or unconscious, is shaping external circumstances in precise accordance with the inner world, reinforcing the principle that life is not something happening to a person, but something they are actively creating at all times. The law of assumption teaches that nothing exists in isolation. Every aspect of one's life, from relationships to career success, to health and overall well-being, is directly influenced by the assumptions maintained within the mind. This means that those who assume success will inevitably experience success. Those who assume love and fulfillment will naturally attract those experiences, and those who assume struggle and limitation will continue to see those reflected in their reality. The power to shift one's life lies entirely in the ability to shift inner assumptions, which then reconfigure the external world accordingly. The mind is the master architect of reality, constantly shaping the future through the dominant beliefs it holds, whether positive or negative. Understanding this principle is the key to taking full control of life, for once an individual realizes that nothing is beyond their reach, except what they believe to be unattainable, they can begin to assume new possibilities into existence. The subconscious mind does not question or resist assumptions. It simply accepts whatever is consistently fed to it and reshapes external circumstances to align with those beliefs. This is why deliberate assumption is so powerful. It removes the need for force, struggle, or effort and replaces it with a state of ease and certainty that what is assumed must become reality. The most critical aspect of this process is persistence, as many individuals fall into the trap of doubting their assumptions when they do not see immediate physical evidence, failing to realize that reality always takes time to shift in response to new beliefs. Those who persist, regardless of appearances, eventually witness the inevitable unfolding of their assumed desires, proving that the external world is nothing more than a delayed reflection of internal convictions. Doubt, fear, impatience, and emotional reactions to temporary setbacks are merely tests of one's faith in the law of assumption, and those who remain unwavering in their mental discipline will always see their assumptions become fact. The process of transformation requires not only intellectual understanding, but also a deep, unwavering emotional conviction that what is imagined is already real. Living in the in-state mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally creates the conditions necessary for reality to rearrange itself in perfect harmony with the assumed outcome. The more consistently one maintains the feeling of already having what is desired, the faster it materializes into experience. This is not magic or wishful thinking, but a fundamental principle of consciousness. What is felt as real in the imagination must externalize in physical reality. Every limitation, every obstacle, every challenge faced in life is rooted in an assumption, and by consciously shifting those assumptions, one can remove any barrier and open the door to infinite possibilities. The book demonstrates that the only thing standing between an individual and their desires is their own mental conditioning, and by mastering the ability to assume, persist, and embody the state of already having, they unlock the power to manifest anything they choose. The deeper realization is that all desires are already fulfilled within consciousness, waiting to be claimed, and the only requirement for them to materialize is the unwavering belief that they are already so. The law of assumption is not something that works sometimes and fails other times. It is always at work, shaping reality according to the dominant thoughts and emotions entertained. The only reason people do not achieve their desires is because they fail to persist in the assumption of already having, allowing doubt, old conditioning, or external circumstances to dictate their beliefs rather than holding firm in the certainty that reality must conform to their inner world. Every person who has ever achieved great success, overcome obstacles, or transformed their life has done so, whether knowingly or unknowingly, through the power of assumption. The key to mastering this law lies in consistently aligning thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with the desired reality, refusing to be influenced by temporary external appearances, and maintaining absolute certainty that what is assumed is already a fact. The final and most profound realization is that there is no separation between self and desire the moment something is assumed with full conviction. It is already created in consciousness, and physical reality must catch up. The book leaves no room for doubt. Those who fully embrace the law of assumption discipline their mind to persist in the desired assumption and refuse to entertain any contradictory beliefs, will inevitably see their chosen reality manifest in perfect detail. There are no limits except those self-imposed, and the greatest freedom comes from knowing that any life, any success, any transformation is possible simply by assuming it to be so. The law of assumption is the key to unlocking unlimited potential, and those who master become the conscious creators of their destiny, shaping their world effortlessly through the power of belief.